Three, two, one. Welcome to Fishbowl Sports, everybody. My name is Chief here, and joining me today is Bear. This is the talk on Highland. Let's talk about what happened last weekend, Bear. Um, LSU baseball having a weekend series win against Dartmouth, and LSU women's basketball and able to take care of their own finale and stuff. And we're closing out the season basically here with everything that is going on here. So without further ado, let's introduce everybody to Bear. How you doing today, Bear?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good, Chief. Doing good.
So what you thought about this last weekend for LSU sports?
Let's not, because it's not good.
It's not good.
So, not good at all. See better, see worse.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna lead off with LSU women's basketball before we get to LSU baseball itself. Excuse me. But yeah, because they're playing the SEC tournament here. They're gonna take on the game six winner. It's the quarterfinal, and they'll play the number four seed in that one. So it's looking pretty good for the LSU women's basketball so far. But I mean, turnovers have been an issue for them though. This season here, it's gonna be a little bit. I mean, yeah, for this the entire season basically here. They're gonna wait the winner of Mississippi State and Florida's gonna play. That's the first round game on and then it'll be Oklahoma and game the game two winner in Mississippi State or Florida. Whoever wins those two will win that one there, and then whoever wins that one will end up playing the Tigers. Tigers have to win. Let's see, three games to win the whole entire thing. How you do you think they'll get the job done?
I think they have a good chance to win and get to the finals at least and play South Carolina again. It's probably wouldn't likely lose against South
Well,
Carolina, but if they
they got South Carolina.
don't happen,
So South Carolina's in game nine. So the game nine and game 10 winner will play against each other. So that will be in the semifinals. That's how the bracket breaks out here. So you don't think they're gonna make out the semis against South Carolina?
no, probably not unless South Carolina loses and they don't make it to the semifinals. It'd be the only way LSU makes it.
I mean, over the years, it has been LSU's Achilles heel, basically. Um, with that there, so that is something to kind of like look at as we progress through the season and stuff. So that is something to kind of like look at and see. I think they've overall they've been kind of a little sloppy with the basketball this year, to like say the least here. So I mean, I think they got a good chance to. I think if they can get past South Carolina, I think they'll actually end up winning this tournament. Actually, but it's just to get past South Carolina is the big elephant in the room there, if you will. To kind of like put it all prognosis there, but um. Right now, it seems like they're projected for a number two seed. The last I've seen for LSU women's basketball, depending how deep they go in the tournament here, of course. Here, if they win the SEC tournament, Bear, are they a number one seed? You believe?
I think they can be. But like that's contingent upon them being South Carolina. I mean, in South Carolina, I mean, they don't have to win any games in the conference tournament. I mean, they're already projected to be a number one seed, but Don Staley just gonna do what Don Staley gonna do, and she's just gonna try to win it just because, just because she can. So, but I mean, LSU needs what did they do, and it would be nice for them to. I mean, if they do make it at least to the finals and lose, if they win the SEC tournament, I think they should be a number one seed. But like I said, that all depends on how the committee looks at it.
Yeah, it's just gonna depend on how all these RPIs and everything kind of gets situated here. So I'm gonna go pull up Warren Nolan at the end here just to kind of like get a snapshot of what this live RPI stuff is actually doing here. So let's go pull up women's
Sure.
basketball.
Yeah. Uh,
It's gonna be one of those where it's gonna be, you got your net rankings and all that good noise there to kind of like just to kind of see what's gonna happen here. So let's see
I think
here.
if they RPI in the single digits, they should get a number one seed.
Yeah, I mean LSU does have some pretty good wins this year, so we'll see what happens with that there.
Committee, and if the committee do anything like the football committee was this year, God help us.
So their net rankings are 5. RPI is 11 according to the live RPI update. So let's see. I wonder what kind of predictive result thing it's gonna have here. It's not gonna be. It didn't change anything because it doesn't know what it's gonna. They're gonna play. So
And South Carolina should them at like a number 8 or 7. Is my guess.
yeah, it's. I mean, it's only gonna have the predictor for like a number 11. But the net ranking is really what this committee's gonna probably be looking at here. Strength of schedule is 48. So LSU, I mean, they've got a very good record. It's very tough to say they don't deserve a top 2 seed, but I think they're gonna be in there, and it's gonna be one of those here. Um, just to see LSU at Auburn is tipping off right now. That's the men. They're
One and done for him.
yeah, it's looking like I mean they're 10.5 point underdogs to Auburn, so we'll see what happens with all that there.
I don't think Mac McMahon get fired this year either.
Hey,
I don't think I don't put the money for him.
they got the hey they like him enough to keep him for one more year at least.
Yeah, they liked him enough because he got a like a $12 million buyout on his contract or $14 million buyout.
Yeah, we'll
They
see.
just they committed 54 million to Brian Kelly. Now you got another 100 million tied up in Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
Plus a $40 million roster or $35 million roster.
All right, let's move on from LSU women's basketball here because I mean this is only the tournament here. We're gonna try to. I think they'll get to like a number 2 seed. We'll see what happens here. LSU baseball. I will be at the game tomorrow for UL versus LSU baseball here, and I do think that I said this on the Raging Cajun podcast earlier tonight that I think that if I'm the Cajuns, I might be throwing my one of my weekend starters to try to get because LSU's RPI is going to shoot up regardless if they win or lose this game in the conference play because it's going to shoot up because of the SEC. So it is worth the risk there if you're looking at it from that angle. What you think, Bear? Do you how you view this matchup with the Tigers and the Cajuns?
I'm not Coach Dave, but I'm not speaking on behalf of Coach Dave. But the formula to beat LSU is there. All you got to do is throw left-handed pitching number one and really slow left-handed pitching number two. But with the way that LSU's hitting the ball at the plate right now, I mean, it doesn't really matter who throw. They just hit the ball. We'll get more than that in a minute, but definitely for sure. I mean, the Cajuns need this win more than LSU does. So I mean, they're coming to play. I mean, it's at home, sold out. So I mean, but like I said, the way to beat LSU is left-handed pitching.
Cajuns have a very good RPI so far. Their live RPI ranking is 16, and whenever I talked about it on the Cajun pod, they were down to 14 on the normal like RPI NCAA here. I like the live one because you can kind of see how each game kind of affects it a little bit. But LSU, the schedule doesn't let up here. I mean, they got Sacramento State, which isn't too bad. Then you got Creighton, and then you got Vanderbilt to kick off your conference. And Vanderbilt is no slouch. This year they can hit the ball pretty well.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
While I would say no. While we're on this whole Vanderbilt thing, there's two numbers that matter at this point right now: 28 and 43. Vanderbilt right now, as of game 14, whatever, 13, 14, game 15, depending on how many midweeks they played. Vanderbilt's hitting 28 home has hit 28 home runs so far in 2026. That's scary. 43 is the number of runners that. Okay, let's look at LSU's last 5 games. You played Dartmouth twice. You played Northeastern twice, and a midweek against McNeese. Those last 5 games, LSU has left 43 runners on base. That that is not good.
I would
And
like
it's a little.
I would like to
It
see
is.
the 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 2-4-5 or whatever with runners in scoring position. I think that would be a really good stat to kind of know for all 5 games combined.
Last 5 games, LSU's hitting 32 of 1 out of 134. That's a 208 team batting average.
Yeah, that's not that kind
That's
of
not gonna cut it.
yeah, that's not gonna cut against the Cajuns. I'll tell you that much. Because the Cajuns are actually you think they're out, but they're gritty. The Cajuns are a very gritty ball club this year. Louisiana
Yeah.
is they're very gritty. They at the end of the games you think they're out, they end up coming back and they end up winning the game against you. And that's very hard to beat here. They really believe every single time that the game isn't over and they'll play to the very end to win the game. So that's something very good to kind of see what is going on here with the Cajuns here. So I think that's something to be excited about if you're a Cajun fan about this matchup here against LSU. Now it seemed like after the Jacksonville baseball classic, Tigers just ran into like a wall or something. Ever since
Yeah, like Jacksonville, these numbers, and I have more numbers that make it look even worse. We'll get into that.
um, well, let's get into that, Bear. What's some numbers you got?
Last 5 games, 32 out of 134. That's a 208 team average. But of those 32 hits, 6 of them came in the game Monday night by backup players that aren't going to play a whole bunch this year. The starters, your regular non-guys that start every game, are actually 26 of 144. That's a 181 average with only 3 home runs out of those 144 at bats. If you want to break it down player by player, last all these numbers I'm going to give you are from the last 5 games alone. Derek Uriel, 4 for 18, 222. Dave York, 2 for 15, 133. Milam at 188. Aaron Beatty at .090. Seth Dardar's at .083. Uh, Braun, Mason Braun's at .077. Simpson and Caraway, now they're doing a little better. They went Simpson's 2.2 for 8 and 3 for 12, and they hit 250. Jake Brown's your leading hitter right now. Last 5 games, 263. So you got 3 players in your starting lineup that are hitting below 100. Guys, we got Vanderbilt coming up in 2 weeks. Like this is DEFCON 1. Like it's time to start panicking because LSU could very well turn into be Texas A&M of last year, and it's really looking that way. I hate to say it this early in the season, but we're 2 weeks away from conference play. We're right at that 100 at bat mark in the season, and this is not good.
I will
This is
say
really
I will say this about baseball though. The Tiger hitting is in a slump, okay? But you could very well as quickly as you go into a slump, you could very well as quickly get out of a slump. You just never know with this game of baseball. The backup guys might be they might need a wake up call some of the starters. Maybe bench some of them against this weekend series. Because I mean it's just a tune up, right? What better else than get competition to push the guys in front of them to kind of hit the ball a little bit more, maybe see the ball a little bit better, that kind of thing here. So, the Herm, I like to call him Andrew Herman. He is a left-handed pitcher for the Cajuns, and he's their Saturday guy. So, when I was talking about the Raging Cajun podcast, I was mentioning that I think the Cajuns should throw Herm against LSU because, like I mentioned earlier on this episode and the other one here, and you mentioned it earlier about the left-handed pitching shut down LSU's batters. Like if that is a thing that as we have seen over the last couple of games, they're able to do that there. Um, the RPI differential that you're going to get if you get the win if you're the Cajuns is going to be huge for you. it'll be huge. It'll carry you over. I mean, you beat the defending national champions. I mean, that's a big enough run there itself. Um, what you think about that, Bear?
I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. And like the Herman probably gonna be the best left hand. If Herman does pitch in some capacity, he would definitely be the most talented pitcher that they've faced yet thus far this season. Any of the pitchers that the Cajuns use will be the best pitching talent LSU has seen so far this season. Not disrespecting any of the other opponents. Because Indiana, Notre Dame, but that LSU that was probably one of the better ones that they've seen all year. But this is a rivalry, and it just means that much more a rivalry. So I mean, the Cajuns are really looking forward to this. But I mean, LSU, and I know these numbers look scary, but guys, this is not LSU's biggest problem. LSU's biggest problem is their bullpen. That's really where they're struggling at. So it's interesting dynamics this year. And just to kind of get into some other stuff here, like it looks like they're a little impatient at the plate. They're pressing a little bit, like they have lofty, because of the whole lofty expectations and of them being, this powerhouse team and this high-powered offense. Like, I mean, these guys came into the season with an immense amount of pressure and they just have bad approaches at the plate. Derek Curiel right now is last. The guy who's supposed to be one of the best pure hitters in your team, Derek Curiel is last in on base percentage right now on the team.
Yeah, something's got to change with that there. It's not looking too good there at all. So that's kind of like,
Yeah, he seems to be chasing pitches outside the zone. He's swinging and misses. He's missing that pitches badly that he normally last year was putting into the gap, going off the field. Zach York is another one that he's not seeing the ball very well right now. He's out in front of pitches. He's over aggressive. Teams are like he's not. He was known as a pure hitter before a power hitter, and he's not hitting the ball opposite field. He's not pulling the ball opposite field. Teams are shifting on him, and the shift is basically shutting down. Simpson's been struggling at the plate with off-speed pitches, and I'm gonna get into the bullpen stuff here in a little bit, unless you want me to jump into it.
go ahead and jump into it. I'm updating some stuff right now.
So LSU's bullpen, like I said, you have out of your whole bullpen staff that was last year, but that guy that stayed and left. You have 100 combined SEC innings returning in your bullpen, and they have no idea, no handle on who's going to carry out, who we can count on to carry out specific roles in the bullpen, except for Sheeran and Gavin Guidry. Those are the only two that you know for sure what you're going to get out of them. I mean, Zach Gallen, like he's allowed 12 hits for 14 innings. 14 out of the 28 guys that he's pitched to have either walked or reached base safely. A 462 batting average against him right now. He has zero threat on the breaking ball. He has no fastball command. Maverick Rizzi, 5 innings. Maverick Rizzi's like 51% strike rate. You really need that to be up into like the 60s. I mean, his fastball is a little, wonky. It's not finding its spot. His breaking ball is not finding its spot. He has 9 walks in under 7 innings, multiple walks in 4 out of the 5 innings, averaging 1. He's averaging 1 walk in inning, but he does have a 1.35 ERA. But regardless of the ERA, you don't want to see this kind of stuff.
Oh, you don't.
I mean, I mean, starting pitching has looked a little bit better, but like he was the first guy out of the pen after the whole Paul incident against McNeese. Was a 2-1 lead. 7 pitches later, McNeese is up 4-2. I mean, Dolphy, 4 hit batters and 16 batters faced. That's 25%. That's not good. We do have, Paul and Garcia were two really highly talented recruits that they've been dealing with injuries since preseason, and we really needed these guys. Like, these are supposed to be two top 100, two top 50 recruits that Jay Johnson brought in. These guys, like, they need to get up to speed. They're supposed to have really electric stuff, and we need them to get back up to speed and get in this game, in these games. To Connor Binge, has actually been one of the broader sides of the bullpen. He's got good action on his pitches, and he throws really hard. We knew that last year, and he's got his stuff has better action this year than it did last year. We need more. We need more than just these two bullpen guys to rely on, besides Guidry and Sheeran. I mean, that's not going to cut it. And then that's about it for the pitching. And we got defensive issues too, but we can get into that in a minute.
Yeah, like whenever you commit error after error, like LSU has, especially in that past game against Northeastern on Monday yesterday, they had 4 errors in like the first 3 innings, and they were down like ten to nothing, and it's like, whoa, like what's going on here? Like they got slapped into reality yesterday, and it's not really looking too good for them in that regard there because whenever you constantly making errors like that, it's just not it's not a good look for you at all. You had 4 errors there. At least you had 1 error against one. I mean, they haven't. I mean, this past weekend, they've had two. One that's they've had 4 errors in their last 3 games. They even had an error against McNeese, and that was so. Yeah, what's up?
15 errors and 13 non-65 fielding percentage overall. That's like one of the bottom in the SEC. That's like reminiscent of 2022 LSU defense. And that's not good.
Yeah, hopefully they can turn it around and figure it out what's going on. But I mean, it's not a good start uh to the season for LSU baseball defensively. So, and those mistakes are gonna kill you no matter how good you hit the ball. Like or how
I mean,
good your pitching is.
starting pitching did look better though. I mean, starting pitching's been a lot better.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question, Fox.
Go ahead.
So they play Sac State this coming weekend. If Casey Evans comes out and he struggles, or just doesn't put up as good a numbers as he did this past start, do you would you experiment swapping the rotation around this weekend or wait until after Vanderbilt to see what happens and possibly move the starting rotation around, or just put Casey Evans back in the bullpen altogether and bring in somebody else?
I think you should have done that last weekend or the weekend before. You don't want to like keep something a problem around before you even get to that situation anyway to begin with here. If there's any doubt that you think that this is gonna be a problem with your starting pitching lineup, then you need to go make the move here. You're almost kind of like stuck with it at this point here, up until you get, because right now I would just leave it like it is for Sacramento State, and then just see how it does for Vanderbilt here. You're gonna get Oklahoma, but at that point you might as well try to experiment with Oklahoma, because you got a better chance of beating Vanderbilt than you do against Oklahoma with the way it is right now.
Yeah. Well, ideally, the benchmark is 15 innings. You want all three of your starters to go combined at least 50. You need at least 15 innings.
Yeah, because you
And
typically want your starter to go 5 to 7, 5 to 6 typically.
yeah, I mean, and they did that this past weekend. Casey Evans went 5 1/3. Cooper Moore went 7 2/3. Schmidt went 7 1/3 for a combined 20 1/3 innings. So it was good on that. And the reason why I asked that question was because Moore and Schmidt had no hitters going into the fifth inning. Evans and Moore both had 10 Ks each in their start. Schmidt had 9. So if Evans comes out and he gives up 4 runs and only strikes out 4 batters, or gives up 5 runs and only strikes out 4 batters, do you start playing around with the rotation, or do you just take a chance going to Vanderbilt?
I think you just go take your chances at that point. I mean, they seem like they're kind of hitting a good stride right now, so I don't think you would want to try to mess that up.
No, the pitching is hitting a starting pitching is hitting a stride.
Yeah, not the
Bullpen,
bullpen. The bullpen's in trouble right now.
yeah, the bullpen.
I just,
It's 965. Oh, that reminds me. And the sad part was in 2022 we had one guy that was committing all these errors. The Butterfingers, Jordan Thompson. Now we have multiple amount of guys committing errors in the field. Derek Tiriel had an error had a couple errors this past series.
I think LSU's biggest problem is I think they're pressing. These are the
Oh
same
yeah,
guys. I feel like the pressure to repeat is so much on their head, but they need to let last year go. I think it's more of a mental thing than it is physical ability. Now, because a lot they return like it's basically the same team as last year, minus Iacin and Anderson.
yeah. Those two are actually all 3 starters. We didn't have a son starter, so it's
Yeah,
not really
it's not. Yeah, it's not like it was. It's like a crazy I'm like ignore the pitching for a second. Just the fielding is like almost the same team.
yeah, except for first base, second base, third base, and but
Yeah, I mean like they look like they're kind of like the majority, like 6 out of their 9 fielders, like it's the same. You got Jake Brown still in there. You got
still got Derek.
Stansfield, Carriel.
Uh,
That's
but
just.
yeah,
I mean, like it's the same team. Like what's the deal? The only thing I could think of would be them pressing too much.
yeah, 100. Yeah, I think I really agree that Preston too much. They came into this season with a lot of hype because of this high-powered line and the pressure to repeat because there's on the other team that can compete with them is UCLA, and like 100% the pressure's there. I mean, it's very mental at this point, not physical. We know they have the talent to do it,
Yeah.
but it's all at this point. And I mean, Coach Johnson's arguably the best in America, and he'll figure it out. But I mean, the the clock is ticking. I mean, Vanderbilt's no slouch,
All
but
right.
Vanderbilt is everybody's talking a lot about this year, and that's scary.
Yep. Let's talk about LSU men's basketball. And we kind of touched on them a little bit here. They're starting SEC play, tournament play. I mean, that is SEC play's been going on, but
Yeah,
how deep you think they go in the SEC tournament?
into the SEC tournament,
Yeah.
this game will be over by halftime.
Come on, have a little faith, Bear.
With the way that I've seen them play all season, they're slow. They get out rebounded. They no defensive awareness. They allowed a guy to come in from the 3 point line against Arkansas and just allowed him to come in and crash the boards on a rebound. Like they move slow. They foul trouble. No discipline. Like this game's gonna be over by halftime. Auburn's gonna be a top. They're probably gonna be a #1 seed.
Yep. And now I think we'll wrap it up with LSU softball. Uh, Not really much going on that end though. What you think about LSU softball for this week?
Mm, I mean, I will say that the one thing Beth can do that Jay didn't beat McNeese
Yeah.
again. Uh, but I mean, until one of those McNeese team sports are really good, are really that good. But uh, No, I mean
They got a three.
LSU's
They do
got.
got a three. They're playing number one Tennessee, and it's gonna be a tough one this weekend.
Yeah, we're gonna find out how good they are, but I mean, it's been kind of the same thing. Like when they face elite pitching, their bats just seem to be shut down. I hate to say it, but I think they're gonna lose 2 out of 3 this weekend.
I think so as well. I think 2 out of 3. I think is gonna be what's gonna happen with LSU softball. I just think that it's then they got Nichols, and then they got Texas A&M next weekend. Um, we'll find out how good they are against Tennessee, but I'm not feeling pretty good about it at all. I'm not. It's just gonna be kind of rough. It's gonna be rough on them.
I'd like to win at least one, but I honestly think they're gonna get swept.
I'm gonna go with 2 out of 3. I'm gonna give them at least one. We're gonna be a little bit I guess nicer about it. All right, thank y'all for tuning in here to this episode here of Fishbowl Sports. We hope you have a great, and the talk on Highland, and that's all we got for this episode tonight. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hope you have a great, wonderful day. We'll see you here next time here on Fishbowl Sports. Have a good night, Fishbowl Nation.
Good night.